it's looking incredible, but what's the running order for the next 3 days?
The first thing we're going to do is do the final position on these principal rafters, the main rafters that are going to carry all of the weight on the roof.
Yeah.
And then,
so how many we've got? 4 of them?
We've got 4 of them.
Yeah.
Once we've positioned them, we're going to use an oak peg just to hammer the peg through the rafter itself and into that lintel, into that horizontal on the top of the wall there.
You don't necessarily need to make it round, because you can have, I know it's going to sound a bit like a cliche, but you can have a square peg and a round hole. Where you've got the round of your hole, if you then have a square going into it, it means that the 4 corners sort of lock up on the round, so that gives you more of a biting point than if it was actually completely round.
But look at that one. Yeah, yours is nice and straight, mine was bent. Let's do it.
Literally just...
Watch out for that. Oh, we're going to need a hammer.
Alright?
Yeah, I am.
So it's just a little bit tight. It's literally millimetres, and that's all. There you go.
That should go in, Will. It really should go in. Let's drive that in. We've got a gap between that and that of about that. This one has caused us more trouble than the other 3 put together. Oh, we're going to hit it with a sledgehammer. She's in. That's it, done.
Yeah.
Good call, that, Will. Good call.
Look how neat that is in comparison.
That's
a Filipino.
okay.
Yeah, the clove hitch takes up about this much to tie on just a piece like that. Well, if you're making the cordage, you want to use as little of it because it takes so long. Resources were few and far between. If you can get away with 3 foot of cordage, that's got to be 2 days' work saved.
It does take quite a while to make cordage, as we call it, so a sort of precursor to rope or twine out of natural materials. But then, of course, they had expertise. If they were doing that all the time, anyone who does it all the time would have had expertise. My feeling is they probably would have used less rope and twine than we're using, and they might have had different ways of lashing things together, perhaps even using twisted vines. There's certainly evidence of twisted vines being used at a place called Woodhenge. So it's a combination of ingenuity and materials, I think.
So what you do is you start with the middle of the rope, and then you want to put the middle of the rope there, and then you start lashing around. I was in the military for 8.5 years. I was on a quick response team. 1 week we were ambushed, and then 2 weeks later we attended a bomb that was in a shop on the Falls Road, and we got there just a little bit too early, and it went off, and we were blown across the road and hospitalised. My leg was hanging off. I've got a big scar on my leg here, and also you get a bit of post-traumatic stress disorder. That never quite leaves you, and I was diagnosed with recurrent depressive disorder. Operation Nightingale is quite unique. It's an interest that I've got, archaeology, and it's also an opportunity to work alongside like-minded people. The sense of humour of squaddies is phenomenal, and that just gives you a break from the regular routine of life, and it's a bit of reminiscence therapy as well.
Yeah.
Done?
Yep.
Look like a flat knot.
Can't see. Yeah, that's flat.
Well done, kid.
All right, there we go.
I'm very proud about the project, put heart and soul into this. It's been extremely powerful as a healing tool for us, and it is the single most beautiful landscape that you can imagine. And I've fallen in love with the animals.
There's evidence for rope and string and twine and all sorts of things dating back to the Bronze Age and even before. There's even evidence for this sort of pegged. It's a sort of joint, and it's from a Neolithic well from Germany. They found very high level of carpentry, beautiful jointing, and it's the lining of a well. So it's basically square section, pieces of board that have been stacked together very much in the way that log cabins are made. So corners kind of overlapped on each other. And to tighten it all up, to keep it secure, they've used pegs at the back of it, and it tightens the whole structure up. So we know about pegs. We also know a bit about jointing and carpentry in the Bronze Age in Britain because of Must Farm, which is an incredibly well-preserved site in Cambridgeshire, where they found the remains of, I think, 5 roundhouses. In the actual timber, which was preserved, we can see some evidence of jointing, so that the timber has been cut and shaped on the end, probably so it can lock into another piece of timber like that. Now, we're not doing anything as complicated as that. This is much simpler, but the archaeology tells us they had rope, they had twine, and they had peg joints. So we don't know what the original house was built from, the one that we're rebuilding from Dunch Hill, but we do know that all of the technologies to tie this thing together are well and truly established in the Bronze Age.
So what wood is this?
Lime.
So this is suitable wood for Bronze Age?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a native timber. Would have been, I think, readily accessible in the Bronze Age. That's chestnut. So chestnut, which is very handy and it's very durable. It's great as posts in the ground, which is why it gets used a lot to make stake fences, wattle fences.
Yeah.
But the Romans bring it in because they know it's good building material. So I can't use it on
yeah.
a Bronze Age site without cheating. What we can do is we can lash that to our rafters that are going up to form the roof, and that will allow us to lean other rafters on it. So this is going to form a load-bearing part of the structure.
So which one do you want?
That one there. Might as well start with that one.
How many more of those that length, Will? Will we cut some more?
So we're going to need another.
Yeah, he was an electric chair man.
Well, how's it going up there? How much more you got to do today?
So I'm literally just about to tie the final knot on this bit here. Today is a game of 2 halves. It was quite challenging to position the rafters, so that took us half a day, where I thought it would take a couple of hours. However, once that happened, everything else fell into place. So the hard work was out of the way and everything else is going swimmingly. So we're not quite back on the schedule that I'd hoped for, but we're in a great place now. And everybody's happy, most important thing.